So hopefully we're recording there. Yeah. So I wasn't actually expecting to interview you, but I caught you as we were walking in, and I was like, wow, I'd really like to talk to that guy.
Oh yeah, right on. Thanks.
I've got kind of a list of questions here, but the first thing I'd like to ask is how you liking Vancouver so far?
I love Vancouver.
How do you find the response from the Folk Fest?
I mean, the history of Vancouver and I didn't like it at all when I first started coming.
Yeah.
And then I got stuck in the hockey riot.
Oh, yeah?
I had a show at the Media Club, Canby in Georgia.
Yeah. I fortunately was not there.
And that was it turned the tides on the town for me. In a weird way, I had a dozen or so people go out of their way to help me get to my room that night.
Oh, yeah? Cool.
Just an amazing display of charity.
Yeah.
And so I realized it was me.
Yeah.
That was being the prick. So really, so ever since then, I've had a big
So do you come here often?
I try. I mean, I'm basically crisscrossing North America, and I tour 8 months a year just to make a living. Just playing live like everyone has to nowadays in the music industry, and I'm happy to do it. So I end up coming here once, twice a year, you know, and I've been really falling in love with it.
Yeah. Oh, it's a beautiful place. I'm from Ontario myself, so
nice.
I consider this home now.
Yeah.
But I couldn't think of a better place to live.
It's amazing. It really is.
Let's see here. So, my first question is, who inspires you?
Basically, at least my live show and my writing.
Yeah.
Recording is a little different, but the live show and the writing is a direct interpretation of John Prine.
Yeah.
I'm trying to imitate the way he's both directly writing like current histories and also being heartbreaking and hilarious. Like trying to understand life and the things that happen to us in both of those things and having that tension.
Yeah.
That's really what I want to do is to take on that mantle and be a young storyteller. I don't see a lot of young people doing that well or doing that at all.
Yeah.
And so I feel
I
like
agree.
That's who I am. That's who I'm trying to be in this industry, and I'm getting better at it. But yeah, it's really.
So when you crisscross the country, do you feel like Kerouac a bit?
Yeah.
I read your bio quickly, and
I think
I'm a big fan of his as well.
Yeah, I read everything. When in my early 20s, I hitchhiked and hopped the train and did crazy things and things I shouldn't talk about. But really, that kind of restless spirit and the kind of hurt. Yeah. I felt like there was something there that I need to pay attention to, and I probably was too romantic about it. And Dylan kind of said the same kind of thing. It was like something like you couldn't help but pay attention to, but you had to sort of ground that a little bit. Yeah. Because it will take you into some really weird directions.
Well, it'll take the polish off, I guess, eh?
It does.
Yeah. It ages you quickly in a way.
It does.
You see things you normally wouldn't.
Yeah, and I think it's a good way to learn how to write about North America, America especially, and trying to figure out who we are as Canadians based on how that country works and that whole thing, and traveling hard like that. I think Kerouac in a lot of ways is just a parallel, sort of like the jazz version of Woody Guthrie.
Well, exactly.
And so that's the deal. That's what is inspiring about that. Yeah. And trying, it's like that's the thing about Vancouver that was hard for me to understand at first. It seemed really shiny and yuppie, and it is that, but it's not only that. It's got a really gritty side, which I love. Well, and I didn't get to feel that at all in the first.
It only takes one walk down Hastings.
Yeah, I know, I've done it. And I'm, having that,
So do you
polarization in this town is really neat. It's something I'm trying to write about. Think about it as like a western town. It's still a new town.
Yeah, it is.
It's not old. And thinking about the West that way especially is really interesting.
Yeah. So have you traveled a lot on the island as well, or?
Yeah, which is also pretty great.
Yeah, a completely different atmosphere.
It really
altogether.
is, man.
Yeah.
I think it's cheaper
Which
to live.
do you prefer?
Right?
Which would you prefer?
Oh.
The what they call the speedy life in Vancouver, or the laid back sort of?
I would prefer the island life.
Really, eh? Yeah.
But
that's nice.
I think there's better food here. So I like that.
And better coffee.
Yeah, the coffee. That's the one thing I've always known about Vancouver. Is like, well, at least the coffee's the best.
Yeah.
It's the best in the country.
Yeah.
Someone brought me a coffee, drip coffee today, from like there's one coffee house in Winnipeg that brews 49th parallel coffee beans. And she brought me this one. So I go, that's what they have on. I was like, making this day start perfectly well. It was really something. Yeah.
How would you describe your perfect day?
Perfect day is trout stream.
Lovely. We hope you don't.
Fishing with my girlfriend, not spending too much time together, but watching each other from afar, and being happy that we're together, but we're also distinct people.
Yeah, exactly. Very nice.
And I just fishing is like pure therapy to me, and I'm heading fishing in Alberta tonight. I'm going to start driving. And,
cool.
I have 3 days off this summer. So
3 days. That's it. Oh.
So I'm going to be fishing and bringing fishing rod everywhere I go. And so it always involves something like that. With my dad or mom or whatever. Just that's been part of my life.
Have you ever fished for sturgeon out here?
It's on my bucket list.
Is it?
Yeah, I fished salmon runs from all the way from here to Alaska. But I've never caught a sturgeon.
Yeah, I saw a guy catch one down at the Fraser River. They're real
so
prehistoric looking.
Yeah, they're dinosaurs, man. They're
pretty
huge.
much.
They're scary.
Yeah, this one was a little one, but I think it was 12 feet. It's just like I thought. I wouldn't want to go in the water knowing that's in there.
I know, but they don't have teeth.
I understand
they're
that.
Just bottom feeders.
Yeah, they're like catfish, but scary.
Just devastating. Tough. Yeah, man.
Cool.
So that's it. That's the perfect day for me is
fishing with your girlfriend.
Yeah.
Is there anybody that you would be nervous to meet?
Yeah. There's 2 people I've tried to meet, and one last night unsuccessfully because
Steve
I got scared.
Earle?
Yeah.
Wow.
And John Prine.
Yeah.
I shook his hand, and all of a sudden I'm a man of many words, and I have nothing to say. Couldn't say anything. I was in his studio in Old Boy, or in his
Gobsmacked.
in his record label.
He was here last night?
No, Steve Earle was.
Oh yeah, Steve Earle. Yeah.
At his record label in Nashville, Old Boy Records.
Oh, cool.
Sitting with all the people that work with him, talking to them, enjoying life. He comes in, and all of a sudden I turn into a mess, like a teenage girl looking at Justin Bieber. It's devastating. So like a guy like that, I think. I meet a lot of these serious cats, and I don't have a problem with it. I realize they're people, and they want to have conversations about other things in music, and they don't want me to wax about how great they are. And but last night I tried to meet Steve, and I was sitting right there. I was wearing my big hat, and I was just I should talk to him, and I was like, I got nothing to say.
Yeah.
And I have every record.
Yeah. Well, that's a shame.
Deals.
Yeah. You'll meet him eventually, I'm sure.
I'm playing with him in Saskatchewan next week.
Yeah.
So
well, there you go.
I'll get to meet him,
and build up your courage.
Yeah.
This may be a little odd question, but I'm curious.
Like
what's your most valued material possession?
That's a great question. Any question I don't know the answer to is good. The guitar, I mean, is important, and it's up there. It's in the top 5.
Of course. Is there a particular one?
There's always guitars.
Yeah,
There's always more guitars. It's gonna sound really nostalgic.
Yeah.
I have all of these. I don't listen to them, but I have all these cassette tapes.
Oh yeah.
Country cassette tapes from my grandpa.
Cool.
He gave me his car when he died. He's
wow.
What
kind of car?
It was a '92 Dodge Spirit. It was white, 4-door.
And it was the coolest thing ever.
It was amazing. And it got me across the country like 10 times. And I had those tapes in there.
Yeah.
It's like Patsy Cline.
Yeah, of course.
And Hank Williams.
Beautiful.
And they're still filled with dust. Where he lived, it was just dusty. Those are pretty valuable to me.
Yeah.
I have a black bear tooth from an elder. He gave it to me. He saw me play, and he was just moved to give me this tooth.
Cool.
That one I bring everywhere.
Yeah.
Those kinds of sacramental pieces I put a little bit too much faith in, and it's nostalgic and romantic, but I really do value them. Yeah.
Well, I'm glad I made you think about that.
Yeah, man. Thanks.
What do you like most about your profession, what you're doing right now?
The best part about it is the ability Queen Elizabeth said, "Beware of artists because they associate with all classes of people." And that is a wild way to understand culture. Is through one night you're staying with the richest of the rich. The next night you're hanging out with
street people.
You are
activists,
and you're out there, and you're willing, and you're trying to figure out a way to communicate to all of these people in between. And so that's the answer. Is the best part about the job is being able to get to hear stories from every profession, every creed. I have a bit of a chip on my shoulder about musicians because they end up spending too much time backstage with their friends. And I think it's our job to be writing histories like John Prine did, like Sam Stone and those songs.
Oh, beautiful.
And to write those songs, you have to be with people. You have to be interacting with people. Otherwise, you start writing about music and musicians and our fake problems. And so my job here is to be in the beer tent and meeting people and hanging out. And that's how I
keeps you grounded.
Yeah, well, I think it I don't know if it does. What it does is it gives me fodder. It gives me something to write about. It gives me something to say because I'm going out of my way as sort of my mission is to hear those stories and narratives from people of all different classes and professions, and, instead of just closing myself off. The tendency is to, that's sketchy.
Oh, geez, too much heat. Maybe. Yeah, maybe.
So that's it, man. It's just trying to connect with people, make the circle bigger,
What would your friends say they appreciate most about you? I've got another stumper, do I?
It's hard because you don't want to blow smoke.
No,
right?
no. And just be honest,
I think I'm never afraid to tell people exactly what I think. My close friends and family. And I think that it's not appreciated right away, but it's appreciated later. And if that's not the answer, then it's cooking.
Yes.
It's my cooking. Because I cook when I go home. I cook for lots of people, whoever will come.
Yeah.
And I always have really good stuff to cook.
Yeah.
I don't get to be home enough, so I end up when I'm home just in the kitchen.
So where do you call home right now, Manitoba?
Winnipeg. Yeah, I have a house there.
Yeah.
Which is weird. I own a house, which is weird. I don't really live there, but my lady lives there, and I get to hang with her when I'm
she
there.
needs to nest, right?
Yeah, she does. She does, and she is great because it gives her a cheap place to live.
Yeah. And a place where she can have it all special when you come home, kind of thing.
It's
I guess.
Pretty awesome, man.
Yeah. What's a side of you the public never sees?
I think I'm generally like to show people that I'm lighthearted, positive, and that I try not to take myself too seriously, and I put that forward. But
do you have a dark side?
I do.
Is that what you're saying?
I think we all struggle with just doubting what we're doing, who we're doing it for, musicians, the industry, and I people that work with me directly, like publicists and management, they probably think that I'm more negative than I am, and I end up using them as my whining platform.
Oh yeah. I've been there and done that myself.
And I think.
Well, do you think that affects your work?
That
you're having this battle.
It probably does, and I really want to be hopeful. I want to be a hopeful sounding songwriter.
Yeah.
And so I try to put that foot forward. I think that's who I am.
Yeah.
But I also want things to go a certain way, and they never really do. And it's just life.
Yeah. Well, I love the narrative that you talked about your father in the song. What was the name of that song?
That's Vincent Black Lightning. That's
Vincent
a Richard Thompson song.
Oh, okay, Richard. Okay.
Yeah.
I did manage to record part of that.
Nice.
I just got a little bit, and then my camera died. I've been having massive problems. I had an interview with Jerron Paxton yesterday, and I have a new computer and an old phone that wasn't even mine, and I tried to sync them together, and it overwrote the interview. And I was so disappointed. And I must have been bummed for about a half an hour walking around. And
I had my gear just fall apart on me this weekend.
Yeah. Oh, really, eh?
That's the kind of thing that really just
Is that from traveling hard and
must be, man.
crossing the country?
Just hard.
What kind of gear do you play with?
Just my acoustics,
What,
the electronics in there. It just cuts out on
Nothing
me.
fancy, yeah.
Nothing fancy.
No.
I just plug in. I think a song is enough, so I
Yeah.
try not to.
Yeah. Geez, we kind of gone through all my questions,
well,
and that
it's
was
good.
like,
No, I think we had a good run.
It was, you answered more than I actually was expecting.
Cool.
I just kind of jotted down a few questions, and is there, is there anything that we have looking to look forward from you?
Yeah, I just finished another record, and I think it's the most honest record I've ever made.
Where do you play when you're in Vancouver? Is it all over, or is there any special
I played
bar?
a lot of places. The last few shows I've done is with Rogue Folk, which is in an old church.
Okay.
Which is cool.
You haven't heard about the Columbia?
No.
What they've got going on down there? It used to be the Raymond Burr Theater.
Oh, wow.
And there's jams there. Wednesday, Sean Garrett.
No way.
And Sundays, there's a blues jam with Delana Gail Bowens, who was here yesterday. She's a friend of mine, and
sounds amazing.
It's a really cool place to play. It's sort of nostalgic, old school. It was built in the 1800s. Be an interesting place. Maybe we'll run into each other one of these days. Yeah, I haunt a lot of bars around here.
Nice.
I'm pretty well known, so
that's great.
Hopefully our paths will cross again. And
absolutely.
I have to let you know that I did record some video
feel free
you,
to use it, whatever.
and I just wanted to let you know. And my policy generally is I show the artists what I've done, and if they don't like it, then you did screw up the words on the one song. But fortunately for you, I ran out of camera, I ran out of space.
Good,
but I did get the Vincent song.
Oh, great! Yeah,
so
use whatever. I don't mind.
Okay,
The more content, the better.
Oh, good.
Even if I screw up words, it's
no, that's part of life, I find, right?
Yeah, man.
And,
You just gotta deal with it well.
Yeah, no, and you picked it up. It was like, I've seen people pause. I've seen people walk off the stage, and you kind of just joked about it, and then just started again, and everybody laughed, and I think that was the reason why I wanted to interview. I just like the way you handled that situation.
It just happens, and I've had a weekend like that, so it's just like whatever, it is what it is. But I really appreciate the interview, man.
No, it was awesome. Thank you very much.
Buddy.
It was
Thank
an honor
you so
meeting you.
much. Yeah,
Do you mind if I
cheers.
take a picture with you?
Oh, I'd love that, yeah.
Great.
Okay, let's, tree as a background.
Tree as a background,
your head so much,
No U-Haul.
Ron, are we good?
Okay, there we go. 1, 2. Okay, we're good.
Beautiful. Awesome.
Thanks a lot.
Yeah, thank you.
Tony,
Is that all right? Yeah. Thanks.
Let's see. I can't see nothing.
Oh.
Yeah, that looks
Good
great.
enough for you?
Yeah.
Cool. I don't need to see it.
Yeah.
You see enough pictures of yourself.
How'd that go?
Well, you went good.
Good.